Byzantine Empire, 330 to 1453. In 330 CE, Emperor Constantine moved the capital of the Roman Empire from Rome to Byzantium, a Greek city in the eastern part of the empire. He renamed this city Constantinople. The city was located along land routes that connected Europe and Asia. The city was also strategically located on Bosporus, a waterway connecting the Black Sea to the Mediterranean. Constantinople was surrounded on three sides by water, and the city had thick walls, making it almost invulnerable to attack. A Byzantine culture emerges. While the western half of the Roman Empire collapsed in the 5th century, the eastern half of the empire survived for another 1,000 years. The Byzantines saw themselves as simply continuing the Roman Empire. Like the emperors of Rome, the Byzantine emperors continued to be all-powerful. They maintained an imperial system of government over a diverse population. Because Constantinople was in the east, most of its merchants and other residents spoke Greek. At first, the official language of the government remained Latin, but it also eventually was replaced by Greek. The Byzantines were also united by their own form of Christianity, Eastern Orthodoxy, which was separate from the Catholic Church. Orthodox Christians did not recognize the Pope as the head of their church. Instead, they had their own patriarch. Orthodox Christians decorated their churches with icons, images of Jesus and the saints. There were also other differences, such as views on the Trinity and the shape of the cross they displayed in their churches. There were several reasons why the Byzantine Empire survived as one of the most powerful economic, cultural, and military forces in Europe. Reasons for the survival of the Byzantine Empire. Classical cultures. Byzantium benefited from a rich infusion of Greek, Roman, Christian, and Middle Eastern cultures. Location. At the crossroads of Europe and Asia, Constantinople was a major center for trade. Silks and spices from the east, furs from Russia, and grains, olives, and wines from the empire itself brought great wealth. Strong central government. Byzantium was ruled by a series of powerful emperors with strong centralized administration and a single set of laws. Large army. The Byzantine central government taxed merchants and peasants to support a large standing army. The Byzantines developed a vibrant culture. They built the Church of Hagia Sophia with its giant dome and tall spires. Schools taught ancient Greek texts. Byzantine artists used precious materials, gold, silver, and ivory, to display classical images. They were especially known for their colorful icons and mosaics, pictures made with pieces of cut stone and glass. The size of the Byzantine Empire varied over time. In its early centuries, it ruled over the Balkan Peninsula, the Middle East, and other parts of Italy. Under Justinian, 527 to 565, it reconquered much of the old Roman Empire. One of the greatest achievements of the Byzantine Empire was the Code of Justinian. Emperor Justinian collected all of the existing Roman laws and organized them into a single code. The code listed all the laws and opinions on each subject. Justinian's code also had special laws relating to religion. It required that all persons in the empire belong to the Eastern Orthodox Christian faith. The decline of the Byzantine Empire. The late Byzantine Empire continuously battled the Slavs and Avars to the north, the Persian Empire to the east, and the spread of Islam in the south. In the 600s, Muslim Arabs took most of the empire's territory in the Middle East. You will learn more about the rise of Islam in the next chapter. The empire declined further in the 11th century. The Seljuk Turks, originally from Central Asia, defeated the Byzantine army in 1071 and took possession of most of Asia Minor. Crusaders attacked the city in 1204. City-states in Italy began to compete with Constantinople for Mediterranean trade. Yet the Byzantines still controlled the Balkan Peninsula and survived for another 400 years. Their empire eventually unraveled from continuous attacks on all sides. By the 1440s, the Byzantine Empire was reduced to a small area just around the city of Constantinople itself. In 1453, Constantinople was finally conquered by the Ottoman Turks. Influence on Russia. One place that was greatly influenced by Byzantium was Russia. Russia emerged as a state in the 9th century in the forest lands between the Baltic and Black Seas. Viking raiders organized Slavs in the region into a kingdom centered in Kiev. Other Russian cities, such as Moscow and Novgorod, developed to the north. Early Russian cities carried on a brisk trade with the Byzantine Empire. Contact with the Byzantines affected Russia in many ways. Byzantine culture, especially Orthodox Christianity, the Cyrillic alphabet, and Byzantine crafts and products, was introduced into Russian society. The Byzantines also converted other Slavic peoples and the Bulgars to Christianity, leaving a permanent legacy in Eastern Europe. The Byzantine legacy. Preserved ancient cultures. The Byzantines preserved the rich cultural heritage of classical civilization, including Greek philosophy and science and Roman engineering. Copies of ancient texts were saved despite destruction in the West. Code of Justinian. Emperor Justinian consolidated Roman laws into a single legal code which served as a guide on most legal questions. It greatly influenced later Western legal systems. New form of Christianity. Eastern Orthodox Christianity was led by the Patriarch and the Emperor in Constantinople, rather than the Pope in Rome. The arts. The Byzantines were renowned for their mosaics, painted icons, gold jewelry, and silks. Constantinople's cathedral, Hagia Sophia, is considered one of the world's most beautiful buildings. Important ideas. A. In the east, the Byzantine Empire emerged with its center at Constantinople. It was to last for almost 1,000 years. Emperor Justinian brought together Roman laws into a comprehensive legal code. B. After the fall of the Roman Empire, Western Europe descended into a period of chaos. Different tribes set up separate kingdoms. Waves of invaders kept Europe in turmoil. Cities fell into decay, and much of the learning of the ancient world was lost. C. To protect themselves, Europeans developed the system of feudalism, a political, economic, and social system. Under feudalism, the king gave land to his nobles in return for their service. Nobles provided the king with knights. Serfs worked on self-sufficient manners for their noble lords. D. During the Middle Ages, the Catholic Church preserved learning and emerged as the most powerful institution in Western Europe. The Pope was the head of the Catholic Church. St. Augustine emphasized the role of faith, while St. Thomas Aquinas believed that Christian teachings were compatible with the exercise of reason. Aquinas also believed in natural law. E. Christians and Muslims fought for control of the Holy Land during the Crusades. The Crusades introduced Europeans to new goods and ideas from the Middle East.